Good afternoon on Wednesday, October 26th, right on the heels of the big Microsoft event. It's time for episode 130 of the 359 podcast with Ben Fox Rubin and Roger Cheng. Good afternoon, guys.
Hey.
Welcome back, Roger.
Thank you. Glad to be back. I missed the podcast room. It was nice.
Yeah.
Off in sunny San Diego, although it was actually raining, so maybe not so sunny.
That's too bad.
And now it's cold as hell here.
Yeah, it's a lot colder out here than it was back.
It's okay.
Back
It's
in
still
San Diego.
sunny. I'll take sunny and cold to rainy in San Diego.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a waste, but yeah, just off, catching some rays, fishing.
And came back just in time for all the sunny news from Microsoft.
I know, very exciting stuff. We're gonna be talking about.
There was some cool stuff there. Yeah, I think.
What, Microsoft? Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Yes, there was.
Trying to convince myself.
Wow. No, there was some cool stuff. We're gonna break down the big announcements from Microsoft's event just wrapped up here in New York. We'll also talk a bit about Apple's earnings and give a little shout out to Katie Collins' story on accessibility tech, which actually played a role in Microsoft's event. They actually kicked off the event with a video highlighting some of their work with in making their products more accessible to everyone. So, without further ado, let's get started. If you have any questions, our producer Brian will put them in the we'll pick them out. We'll do our best to answer them, and yeah, let's go. Let's get going.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2,
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about what?
go. Keep going.
We go. All right. Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the crap we want to throw in. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
So Microsoft just wrapped up its big event in New York. One really big new product, literally a big new product.
Surface Studio.
The Surface Studio, 28-inch all-in-one desktop.
It looks really nice.
That's the big thing. There were a lot of announcements about VR and AR and
3D. Like all this 3D stuff.
Being able to create images in 3D with Paint. But the real highlight of the show, which is what they ended on, was
knew it.
The Surface Studio. This thing's a behemoth. 28-inch display is $3,000 starting price. And it goes up to $4,200 depending on the configuration.
They're doing a really good job presenting tech porn. It's just it's a very pretty looking device. It does a lot of cool stuff. I really don't think that it's for most people.
No.
It's for designers and artists. And
it's definitely for professionals or folks with way too much money.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
That just want to draw stuff.
It is
with
a high-end
really
device.
nice looking thing.
I'd love to have this in my home or in the office, but I know I never will because it is just way too expensive. But
I would also like to give a shout out to Panos Panay. How do I pronounce his last name?
Yeah, you got it right.
Panos Panay, who I would argue is probably one of the greatest salesmen of all time. And he does his presentations in a very different way than the Apple folks do. He's with a lot of energy and
a lot of passion.
It provides a lot.
You can see it.
It just creates a very different color or flavor to the Microsoft events than the Apple events. So,
Did you take notice of the Surface Dial, which I thought was one of the more interesting peripherals to come out in a long time. You actually tap it on the screen. You could dial it to kind of rotate the images.
It looks cool. I think 3 people are going to use it. I don't know.
I won't be, but and again, I don't have $3,000 to spare.
Yeah.
So just a quick shout out. One of our reporters, Katie Collins, put out a story on accessibility, looking at how Apple and Facebook have sort of expanded their perspective in sort of creating features that help address folks with disabilities, features that are found on your phone or Apple Watch or on Facebook, but also features that, while they start off as sort of a niche thing, end up being kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
It's just relevant because Microsoft actually kicked off its event today with a video talking about accessibility and the work they've done to make Microsoft products and software more accessible to people.
Yeah. Next up, we also wanted to hit on Apple's earnings, which were last night.
Yeah.
And they weren't that great. Folks were expecting them to not be that great. And the good news, I guess, if you want to look into the future, which we always like to with earnings, is that the iPhone 7 is expected to boost up their revenue going into the holiday season, so they might actually do better than they did with the 6S.
There was definitely a lag in terms of inventory. I talked to a bunch of the carriers, and they complained that, not complained, but they've noted that a lot of their customers still haven't gotten their iPhones yet. I mean, I just got mine like a week ago. And so I
Oh,
ordered.
you mean people that ordered them and are still waiting on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From pre-order days. I mean,
they
that's the thing.
repeatedly mentioned that on the call that they've had a back,
Especially if
they have more demand than supply.
If you ordered a Plus, if you ordered like a 128 or 256 gig phone, if it's a black or jet black phone, I mean, chances are you might not have one yet.
Right. They definitely mentioned that they're selling out of everything that they're making, particularly with the pluses, and they're hoping to actually end up catching up to the demand at some point.
Yeah, and you have to imagine the whole Samsung thing it's got to help them in the long run. It's sort of a nice tailwind, right?
Yeah. But they said that it isn't quite yet because they're selling out. Also wanted to mention, by the way, that Thursday they're going to be having a hardware event.
Yep.
And it's mostly going to be focused on what we expect Macs.
Yep.
So we'll see what sort of refreshes they're going to have with that.
Definitely. For more about these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Thanks for listening.
So what do we think Apple's going to counter with to answer to this? Because this was a pretty interesting keynote.
MacBook.
Yeah, more powerful.
Pure
Hardware?
Hardware. I mean, the long rumored virtual strip, although it's not really rumored, right? Because they kind of leak their details themselves.
It's like a strip at the top of the keyboard.
That's context sensitive.
Yeah, and then it changes
the app. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
a
a fingerprint ID reader, similar to Touch ID to enable transactions. Because right now, if you want to use Touch ID on your Mac, you've got to pair it with your phone, and then you have to touch your phone to secure the transaction, which is kind of
I didn't even know that feature existed.
Yeah.
No, I still type in my stuff like an idiot, I suppose.
That dial was interesting. I mean, like you said, this is not the kind of thing to replace the general home PC setup for a designer. This is a fascinating new, that's a real innovation. We haven't seen anything like that yet.
That's true. Wow. It's absolutely. I mean, for peripheral, we haven't seen any innovations on peripherals for a long, long time. So,
I mean, they penned to the Apple Pencil. So
right, that's
whoopee.
True. Yeah,
but the dial was cool.
The dial was really cool. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see that. Really, I'd love to see what the tactile.
Yeah, I imagine there's something satisfying about dialing.
Yeah, that it makes
turning an image around,
or something.
or opening up a menu and turning it. That seems pretty intuitive.
Yeah, at least something finally unique, something innovative to see how it actually performs.
Yeah, and I have to give it to Microsoft, right? They've really done a good job over the last few years of kind of reinventing their sort of home brand of Surface devices. Mm-hmm. They all look really attractive. They're slick.
Yeah.
They really are trying to set the tone for what all Windows devices should be.
And the Surface Book it was also one of those things that they presented last year, and apparently they're selling the Surface tablets, especially really well. It's
the
not
Surface
just
Pros for sure are a big business.
So it's not just a proof of concept. This is something that's actually making serious money for them, which means they're going to keep doing it. I don't think so much with this all-in-one, but
this is definitely more of a niche thing. And they said for the holiday season this is supposed to be a limited product run. So we'll see.
Folks in the chat think the hinge is ugly.
The hinge.
The hinge on
the physical hinge on the Surface Pro.
Okay. Really, I actually kind of like it. It's sort of
wait on the Surface Studio.
Sorry, I misspoke.
It's okay.
It's like the double hinge thing. It's not as I guess the idea is you can sort of see through it as opposed to the iMac where there's sort of a large.
It's
stand.
formed a function,
right?
Yeah, and it helps because.
If you got a supposed to be able to pull it down.
But if you've got a touch screen or a pen and you're constantly writing on it, the pressure there is going to need to stay there. There needs to be that counter spring to keep it steady.
Steve says it's all about the new Zune.
You know what? You guys joke, but I loved my Zune. I had a Zune and it was great.
Seriously?
It was a thinner model. It was basically it used the same kind of interface that in terms of what Windows Phone kind of ended up being. Mm-hmm. And I kind of liked it. It was thin. It played movies. I had lower expectations back then.
We found the one Zune customer out there. We should interview you.
Actually, I think I got that for free. So okay. I didn't actually buy it. I didn't even know they made it until I got it.
Whatever kid in school had the Zune, we mocked mercilessly.
So this wasn't the thick Zune. They, at one point they buckled down and start. And I think this is sort of the start of that trend of slick hardware being made because it was nice. It was metal, aluminum. It was super thin, and it was nice. It was actually really sexy looking.
Yeah. What I'm always wondering whenever Microsoft comes out with new hardware is how long are they going to be allowed to get away with this before their partners start getting really annoyed with them?
Yeah,
and say like, we've been using your Windows operating system forever.
I mean,
you're taking food out of our mouths.
Yes, but I think they've gotten away with it for so long now. Like it's become part of the status quo. I think what you've seen are companies either making higher end versions, like even better or more expensive versions of the Surface, or lower end versions, right? Like they followed what Microsoft said they would do. They basically used the Surface Pro as a template for what their tablets should look like, or what their what are those? What's the category?
2-in-1s?
2-in-1? Is that right?
Is that like the laptop that's also a tablet?
Yeah, I guess it's a 2-in-1. Yeah.
I'm sorry for using the term.
Terrible
honestly.
technical term.
My 2 cents to take away from today is I actually thought that the 3D stuff was kind of cool.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
the
I mean,
Paint
it's
3D
a
seemed
pure
really cool.
novelty, but
Yeah.
I loved the idea of the scanners. Like, wow, we're actually, again, we could easily be fooled by this, and maybe it doesn't function as well as they presented on the. But it was neat to see because like that's something straight Jetsons right there.
Yeah, and the
You know?
guy
Yeah,
had
yeah.
his virtual office. I really don't think people are going to be using it that much. Like maybe there's going to be this very small niche group that's going to get really excited about putting on a HoloLens and actually, I don't know, visiting, what is it, Paris or Rome or something.
That wasn't a HoloLens though, right? Wasn't that the VR headset?
Oh, okay. Yes,
because they announced
have 2 separate headsets.
So it's a little bit different. They didn't really talk about HoloLens that much. I mean, there was a little bit of it, but I thought it was interesting that they kind of stressed that they're actually working with partners to build VR headsets for, for what, $300, starting at $300. I don't know if that's good or bad.
So here's my plan. I'm going to take the 3D scanner. I'm going to scan a big stack of money and then 3D print it.
Ooh,
What do you think?
Yeah,
Would that work in my favor?
It could work. I think
don't
you
know if
may
that
have
would
committed
work
a
too
federal crime just now.
One last thing. How do we think that their presentation went? How did we feel about
oh god, it went too long.
a little long?
It was a little long,
wind,
but
a little
2 hours.
winded.
A little 2 hours.
A lot
I
of
mean,
charisma.
Yeah, and they did a good job of making it very consumer focused. I think I've seen some of the other
I think
Microsoft events.
There was definitely a point where they had a comic book artist on to like literally sketch
That's
out
true.
the entire frame. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
going on here? We don't need the entire damn comic book.
That's true.
A little when they throw in like 11 sizzle reels, they
Yeah.
could have sizzled that a
There
little
were
bit.
there were a lot of sizzle reels for that thing.
Okay, these are good points. However, I remember like one of them from last year or something. They really focused on, what was it called, the Surface, that giant screen Surface thing, the Surface Hub.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that were more like business focused or B2B. So I did like that this one was very consumer, mostly consumer focused.
It's hard for me
Prosumer to an
It's
extent.
hard for
To
me
an
to
extent.
call a 2-hour event focused though. It was a little meandering.
Yeah. Okay.
A little redundant,
A
but
little redundant.
I love watching
their presentation
Panos.
was sharp. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Panos Panay.
Panos is a pretty charismatic dude.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character for sure.
He will stay employed for quite some time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. All right, so are you guys excited about the new paint? What do you want to do with the new paint?
What do I know? We're like immediately
Call me-
Careful.
Yeah,
Call
yeah.
me being like, when was the last time I used
know.
a Windows device?
Well, yeah. Well, no. Like, when was the last time I used Paint? I used to.
1997.
Yeah, I used to love using Paint.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, they really brought that back from the grave.
Apparently, people use it a ton.
Yeah, they were
There's
saying
like
that on the
100 million
presentation.
people use it a month.
I really thought it was
really?
just kind of a novelty
That's what I
now
thought.
for people who's like, it's like a subreddit of its own subreddit of
Yeah.
modern paint.
Yeah.
I think with some of the things that they've added to it, I think people would definitely want to use it more. With the 3D stuff, they made it look super easy. I don't actually think that it's going to be that
Yeah.
easy, but we'll
3D
see.
paint equals 3D memes. You are very
That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
here we
Cannot
go.
wait.
I can't wait.
And
Here
we'll be
comes
seeing-
that boy.
And we will be viewing our 3D memes with VR headsets. So that's the future right there. That's the brave new world we're looking forward to.
I think I'm going to be
Frankly
sick.
terrified. That sounds horrible.
No, I did like the idea realistically of like sketching out this like, fantasy island or whatever in 3D and then like putting on a headset and actually like getting into that world, right?
That's very Minecrafty.
It is.
Yeah, there's definitely people out there that would love that.
There are a lot of people, right? Kids. That's like the most popular game for kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a game that allows you to create new worlds.
Yes.
And this allows you to not just like code or like actually like kind of physically build pieces, but like sketch your world as opposed to what Minecraft allows.
As one useful anecdote, I remember a time when like we were all playing like 007, first person shooter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With like 4 people. So it was the split screen and everything. I was at my nephew's birthday party, and they had this truck with all these different. It was like a video game truck. They were all playing Minecraft. They were playing Minecraft and Super Smash Brothers, but a huge, like more than half of them were playing Minecraft
together. Were they all in like the same world?
Yeah.
It
made very little sense to me, but
it's because you're old, dude.
I am. I'm old. I don't understand Snapchat.
You're an old. You gotta be hip like me, man. I'm snapping all the time.
We're not even going to go down that road. So cheers to Microsoft. We'll be back tomorrow for Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
Busy week.
Same as, we're
Crazy.
going to be doing it beforehand. Should we tape it late?
Yeah.
You should tape late
I
tomorrow.
would think so.
Yeah, it's the same deal as today. We'll tape a little bit late so we could talk about Apple.
Looking forward to your feedback as well. Thanks for jumping in and talking about Microsoft with us.
Are you excited about Macs? Are you more excited about the Surface Studio?
We'll have to find out
It's
tomorrow.
going to be a tough one to live up to. That was a sharp presentation today.
Yeah, Apple definitely has its work ahead of it.
Yep.
All right.
You want me to do it? I'll do it.
Let's do it, Ben. Go for
The
it.
359 podcast is available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, Google Play Music, and of course on CNET.com. Thanks very much for watching and sticking with us, everybody.
We'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.